Hey guys, welcome to this video. So as you can tell, I am about to go into my rad tech school interview. I'm not nervous right now, but I know like once I actually get out of my car, I'm gonna be really nervous. So I got here about 30 minutes early. So I'm gonna get out in like 10 minutes, so like 10:15. My interview's at 10:30. This is the outfit. You can't really see it, but it's just this top and then some black slacks and some flats. After the interview, I am gonna tell y'all a few of the questions that I got asked and how I answered. I hope I'm prepared for this interview. I'm so nervous actually, because I don't know what to expect. I know there's gonna be like 15 people in the room, so it's just gonna be me with 15 people staring at me, so that's a little intimidating. But I have looked over several questions and I've been like practicing my answer. So I'm just crossing my fingers that this goes well. And after this, I'm gonna treat myself to some shopping. So I'm super excited. I'm done with my interview. I've changed clothes now. I've actually been shopping a little bit. Hopefully my car isn't too loud. I think the interview went pretty well, because like they were like laughing at my stories and stuff. So I feel like that's good. I don't know. I'm scared, but I'm supposed to know by the end of the week if I got in or not. But the very first question that they asked was, tell me a little bit about yourself. So I just started with where I grew up, and then I said that I graduated last year and now I'm at this college. I told them about, my college, my background or whatever. I actually told them what I was interested in and what I like to do. And then they asked a lot of like situational questions. So they would say, name a time that you had to follow a rule that you didn't agree with. And so I used a lot of the examples I used were from high school and being in sports and being in clubs. Sorry, this angle is going to be up and down because I'm on a very bumpy road. But for that specific question, I just used the example of how I was in tennis in high school, and U.S. players are responsible for calling the point. There's no ref, there's no nothing, so you're responsible for that. And the other team said it was in and I said it was out, but instead of causing conflict, I just said, okay, just go with it. You're right, I'm wrong. Another question that they asked was, when is a time that you've made a mistake and how did you handle it? So I just used a mistake that I made at my current job, and then obviously told them how I handled it. And they really liked my story. Apparently it was really funny. The other question was, am I planning on working during school? And I told them that I was planning on working, but my current job, it allows me to study and it allows me to make changes to my schedule. And if I need to make changes, if I need to cut back on hours, then I will do so. And so I'm willing to adjust that for the program. I previously had to do observation hours before my interview. So they did ask me about that. They asked me what's one positive thing, what's one negative thing. So I told them one positive thing was we did a fluoroscopy scan and we were able to figure out like what was going on. And then a negative thing was going to the NICU and seeing these tiny little babies hurting. Like to follow up on that question they asked, how would I be able to handle that? Seeing that sad stuff every now and then. And I just gave them another example about work. They did ask me a few questions about my observation hours and, if I was able to talk to the students that were also there about their experience in the program. So if you do have to do an observation beforehand, make sure, you're paying attention and you're kind of making mental notes of things to talk about in your interview, because they're most likely going to ask you about that. And even if you don't do observations hours before your interview, I think it's a great idea to go ahead and do those. Just so it's something you can bring up. Yeah, like, hey, I just observed a few weeks ago and I saw this. And I think that would definitely boost your points for your interview. They also asked me how I will manage my time and, my workload for school and clinicals and work. So they asked me how I do that, so I just told them I like to make lists. I have a little calendar, and I just plan everything out, and it helps to look at a list, for me at least. They asked me why I chose radiology, and I just said that I've always loved the medical field. I love learning about the body, and I just did some research, and I saw it, and it looked interesting. most of the time they already know your grades, they know your job experience, they know what you look like on paper, but they're really just interviewing to see what your personality's like. So just be happy, upbeat, be yourself, because that's what they like. And I think it's definitely helpful to go ahead and have some of the main common questions that people get asked during these interviews in the back of your mind, just so you're not stumbling. So definitely know, tell me about yourself, why you chose radiology or whatever field you're going into. And then I think it would be helpful to go ahead and have some situations that you've been in the back of your mind that would be good examples of like how you learned a lesson or how you handled it. And that's what I would do. But in the end, you just have to be yourself and be confident. Hey guys, so it's actually the next day and I was just driving in my car and I thought of a question that they asked me that I didn't tell you guys. So one of the questions was, what are some good qualities in a rad tech? Like, what are some good qualities that rad techs need to have? I was so unprepared for that question, and I feel like I answered it very, very badly. So probably gonna get some points docked off for that because it was really, it was just not a good answer. I think I said something about being caring and having leadership skills, but it's kind of all over the place. So definitely that needs to be in one of your top 3 questions to go over, because they probably are going to ask you that. And I don't know why I didn't see that when I was going over questions that would be asked. So I definitely wanted to put that on here because I didn't see it anywhere else. And now that I did actually hear it, it makes a lot of sense that they asked me